Most people don't fail because life is hard. They fail because they're soft. And that truth right there, it hurts, it burns. But it's real. You don't become dangerous by staying comfortable. You don't become unstoppable by choosing ease. You become a savage when you stop negotiating with pain and start commanding your life. Right now, there's a version of you that knows exactly what needs to be done. Wake up earlier, work harder, stay disciplined, cut the excuses. But there's another version of you, louder, weaker, always whispering, "Not today, maybe tomorrow." And that voice? That voice is killing your future. You say you want success, you say you want greatness, but your actions, they tell a different story. Because wanting is easy, dreaming is easy, talking is easy, but doing is where most people disappear. You feel tired? Good. Everyone is tired. You feel unmotivated? Good. Motivation is a lie. It comes and goes like the wind. But discipline stays. Discipline builds. Discipline wins. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Look at your life. Be honest. Not the version you show the world. Not the filtered version on social media. The real one. The late nights wasted. The mornings you skipped. The promises you broke to yourself. That's where your truth lives. And the truth is simple. You're not stuck. You're choosing comfort over growth. Every time you quit early, you vote for weakness. Every time you avoid the hard thing, you build a weaker version of yourself. And over time, that weakness becomes your identity. But here's the thing nobody tells you. You can change that right now. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to decide that enough is enough. Because savages don't wait for perfect conditions. Savages create pressure. They create momentum. They create results. You think it's about talent? It's not. Talent is overrated. Discipline beats talent every single day. Because talent without work is wasted potential. But discipline turns ordinary into unstoppable. You want to be different? Then act different. While everyone else is sleeping, you work. While everyone else is scrolling, you build. While everyone else is complaining, you execute. No excuses, no shortcuts, no mercy on your own weaknesses. Because the battlefield isn't out there, it's inside you. It's you versus you every single day. And the version of you that wins, that's the one you feed. That's the one you train. That's the one you become. So ask yourself, who are you feeding today? The one who quits or the one who conquers? Because you can't have both. You can't live a soft life and expect a strong future. Pain is part of the process. Struggle is the price of growth. And if you're trying to avoid both, then you're also avoiding greatness. You don't get stronger by staying comfortable. You get stronger by facing resistance, by pushing past limits, by doing the things you don't want to do, especially when you don't feel like it. That's the difference. That's what separates the average from the savage. A savage doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" A savage says, "It needs to be done." And then they do it. Over and over again. Relentless, unapologetic, focused. Because at the end of the day, nobody is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. No one is going to fight your battles. It's on you. Always has been. Always will be. So stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop doubting. And start becoming the person you said you wanted to be. Because deep down, you already know what you're capable of. You're just afraid of the work it takes to get there. But fear? Fear is a test. And savages pass the test. Every single time. Fear doesn't disappear. It doesn't magically go away one morning when you decide to be better. It stays. It follows you. It sits in your chest and whispers doubt. But a savage doesn't wait for fear to leave. A savage moves with it, through it, past it. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in spite of it. You think the strongest people feel nothing? Wrong. They feel everything. The doubt, the pressure, the exhaustion. the weight of expectations, but they don't let those feelings decide their actions. That's the shift. That's where the transformation begins. You stop asking, how do I feel? And start asking, what needs to be done? And then you do it. No hesitation, no negotiation. Because every time you hesitate, weakness grows. Every time you delay, doubt gets louder. And over time, that hesitation becomes your habit. That doubt becomes your identity. But it doesn't have to stay that way. You can break it. Right here, right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when things are easier. Now. Because there is no perfect moment. There is only this moment and what you do with it. You want to be a savage? Then stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for inspiration. Those are luxuries for people who don't want it bad enough. Savages operate on something deeper. Commitment. Commitment when it's hard. Commitment when it's boring. Commitment when nobody is watching, especially when nobody is watching. Because that's where character is built. In silence. In repetition. In the unseen hours where you either rise or you fall. You don't get credit for what you start. You get credit for what you finish. And most people, they start strong. They're excited. They're fired up. But when the excitement fades, they fade with it. That's why they stay average. That's why they never break through. Because they rely on emotion instead of discipline. And emotion is unstable. Emotion is weak. Emotion will betray you. But discipline is your anchor. Discipline shows up when you don't want to. Discipline keeps going when it hurts. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. And that's why discipline wins. Every single time. So, if you're serious about this, if you're done being average, if you're tired of looking at your life and knowing you're capable of more, then it's time to make a decision. A real decision, not a half-hearted attempt. Not another "I'll try." Trying is weak. Trying is what people say when they're preparing to quit. You don't try. You do. You commit. You execute. No matter what. Because once you decide, truly decide, something changes inside you. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop giving yourself an easy way out. You become relentless. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because a relentless person, they don't stop. They don't slow down. They don't fold under pressure. They adapt. They adjust. They keep moving forward, always forward. And yeah, it's going to hurt. You're going to feel like quitting. You're going to question everything. You're going to hit days when nothing goes right. Good. That's the test. That's the moment that separates who you are from who you could be. Because anyone can be strong when it's easy. Anyone can be focused when things are going well. But when it all falls apart, when the pressure hits, when your mind starts looking for escape, that's where savages are born. In chaos, in pain, in the moments where quitting feels like relief. But you don't quit. You push harder. You go deeper. You prove to yourself that you're not the same person anymore. That you've evolved. That you've grown. Because growth isn't comfortable. Growth is violent. It tears apart who you used to be. It forces you to rebuild. Stronger, sharper, unbreakable. And that process, it never ends. There's always another level, always another challenge, always another version of you waiting to be unlocked. But you don't get there by wishing. You get there by working, relentlessly, obsessively, day after day. No breaks, no excuses, because at some point you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Not in words, in actions. Because your actions, they don't lie. They show exactly who you are. And if you don't like what they show, then change them. Starting now. At some point, you have to stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending you're giving your best when you know you're holding back. Because deep down, you know. You know when you quit early. You know when you take shortcuts. You know when you choose comfort instead of growth. And that truth, it follows you. It shows up in your results. It shows up in your confidence. It shows up every time you look in the mirror and feel that quiet frustration. That voice saying, you could be more. That voice isn't your enemy. That voice is your potential screaming at you. But here's the problem. Most people silence that voice. They distract themselves. They bury it under entertainment, excuses, and temporary comfort. Because facing it means changing. And changing? That's hard. It requires sacrifice. It requires discipline. It requires becoming someone you've never been before. And that's exactly why most people never do it. They want the reward without the process. They want the outcome without the effort. They want the victory without the fight. But that's not how this works. You don't get to skip the struggle. You don't get to avoid the pain. You earn it. Every drop of sweat, every early morning, every late night, every moment you wanted to quit but didn't. That's the price. And if you're not willing to pay it, then stop pretending you want greatness. Because greatness demands everything. It demands your focus, your energy, your consistency, your obsession. Yes, obsession. Because average people dabble. Savages obsess. They think about it when they wake up. They work on it when they're tired. They push forward when everyone else is slowing down. They don't just want it, they live it. And that's the difference. That's why they separate from the crowd. While everyone else is making excuses, they're making progress. While everyone else is waiting for the right time, they're creating it. While everyone else is afraid to fail, they're failing forward. Because they understand something most people never do. Failure is not the enemy. Comfort is. Failure teaches. Comfort traps. Failure builds resilience. Comfort builds weakness. So if you've been avoiding failure, if you've been playing it safe, if you've been staying in your comfort zone, you've been holding yourself back, not life, not circumstances, you. And that realization, it's powerful. Because if you are the problem, you are also the solution. Let that sink in. You have control. You have the ability to change everything. But only if you're willing to take responsibility. No blaming, no complaining, no pointing fingers. Just ownership. Total ownership of your actions, of your habits, of your results. Because the moment you take ownership, you take power. And with power comes responsibility. The responsibility to act. The responsibility to improve. The responsibility to become better every single day. Not perfect, better. Because perfection is a myth. But progress is real. And progress compounds. Small wins turn into big victories. Daily discipline turns into unstoppable momentum. And before you know it, you're not the same person anymore. You've changed. You've evolved. You've become someone stronger. Someone sharper. Someone who doesn't break under pressure. That's what this is about. It's not just about success. It's about identity. Who you become in the process. Because at the end of the day, the money, the status, the recognition, none of that matters if you're still weak inside. If you still quit when things get hard, if you still run when pressure hits, that's not winning. Winning is becoming unshakable. Winning is building a mindset that refuses to fold. Winning is looking at adversity and saying, is that all you've got? That's a savage. Not someone who talks big, someone who lives it every day, every action, every decision. So the question is simple. Are you ready to become that person? Or are you going to stay where you are? Because you can't do both. You can't live in comfort and expect transformation. You can't stay the same and expect different results. Something has to change. And that something is you. This is where most people break. Not at the beginning, when everything is new and exciting, not when they first decide to change. They break in the middle. When the results are slow, when the effort feels endless, when the rewards don't match the work. That's where the weak fall off. That's where the crowd disappears. Because the middle is boring. The middle is repetitive. The middle tests your patience in ways nothing else can. You wake up, you do the work, no applause, no recognition, just silence, day after day. And your mind starts playing tricks on you. It whispers, is this even worth it? It tells you, you've done enough. It tries to pull you back into comfort. But this is the defining moment. Because a savage understands something most people never will. The middle is where you are built. Not the beginning, not the finish line. The middle. The grind, the repetition, the unseen effort that nobody claps for. That's where discipline becomes identity. That's where habits become automatic. That's where you stop relying on motivation and start operating like a machine. You don't think about it. You just do it. Over and over again. Relentless. Because by now, you've stopped negotiating. You've stopped asking for permission. You've stopped waiting for the right feeling. You've become the kind of person who executes regardless. That's power. Real power. Not loud, not flashy. Quiet, consistent, unstoppable. And here's the truth. Most people will never understand you. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you've changed. They'll question your intensity. Good. Let them. Because you're not here to fit in. You're here to level up. You're here to evolve. You're here to become someone they can't even recognize anymore. Because growth separates you. It isolates you. It forces you to walk a path that very few are willing to take. But that's the price. And you've already decided to pay it. Remember? You said you wanted more. You said you were done being average. This is what that looks like. Lonely mornings, hard days, endless repetition, no shortcuts, no guarantees, just work. But here's what they don't see. They don't see the strength you're building. They don't see the mindset you're forging. They don't see the discipline that's becoming unbreakable. And one day, they will, because results speak loud. And when your results show up, when your life changes, when your success becomes undeniable, they'll ask you how you did it. They'll want the secret. They'll look for shortcuts. But there is no secret. There is no shortcut. There is only this: the grind, the sacrifice, the relentless pursuit of becoming better every single day. And by the time they notice, you'll already be miles ahead. Because while they were watching, you were working. While they were doubting, you were building. While they were waiting, you were executing. That's the separation. That's the gap. And once that gap is created, it's hard to close. Because you're not slowing down. You're not going back. You've come too far. You've suffered too much. You've invested too much into this version of yourself to quit now. And that realization? That's fuel. That's what keeps you going when everything else fades. Because now it's not just about winning. It's about becoming someone who refuses to lose. Becoming someone who doesn't fold under pressure. Becoming someone who shows up no matter what. And once you become that person, everything changes. Your mindset, your habits, your results, your entire life. Because success is not an event, it's an identity. And you're building it right now, with every choice, with every action, with every moment you refuse to quit. So keep going, stay locked in, stay focused, because you're closer than you think, but only if you don't stop. Now listen carefully, because this is where everything comes together. This is where the boy becomes the man. This is where the weak version of you dies and something stronger takes its place. You didn't come this far just to almost make it. You didn't suffer, sacrifice, and struggle just to stop now. That's not who you are anymore. You are not the person who quits. You are not the person who hesitates. You are not the person who makes excuses. That version of you, it's gone, burned, buried, left behind in the days when you chose comfort over growth. Because now you are different. Now you move with purpose. Now you think with clarity. Now you act with precision. And most importantly, now you finish what you start. This is what being a savage really means. It's not about being loud. It's not about showing off. It's not about proving something to the world. It's about proving something to yourself every single day. It's about looking at your limits and breaking them. It's about staring at your fears and walking straight through them. It's about becoming so disciplined, so focused, so relentless that nothing can shake you. Not failure, not pressure, not doubt, nothing. Because you've built something stronger than all of it. You've built yourself. And that is your greatest weapon. Understand this. Life will still hit you. There will still be setbacks. There will still be moments where everything feels like it's falling apart. But now you don't break. Now you don't run. Now you don't fold. You adapt. You adjust. You keep moving forward because that's what you do. That's who you are. A savage doesn't stop. A savage doesn't quit. A savage doesn't make excuses. A savage finds a way, always. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times they get knocked down, they get back up again and again and again. Because they understand something the world forgets. You don't lose when you fall. You lose when you stay down. So you rise every time, stronger, sharper, more dangerous than before. And eventually, something shifts. The struggle that once broke you now fuels you. The pain that once stopped you now drives you. The obstacles that once blocked you now build you. And that's when you know you've changed. You've evolved into something unstoppable. And when that day comes, when you look back at who you used to be, you won't recognize that person anymore. Because you'll see the truth. You were always capable. You were always strong enough. You were always meant for more. You just had to decide. You just had to commit. You just had to become. So stand up, right now. Stand up in your mind. Stand up in your life. And make the decision. No more excuses. No more delays. No more half effort. From this moment forward, you go all in. You give everything. You push past every limit. You break every barrier. You become the person your future is waiting for. And one day, the world will look at you and ask, how did you do it? And you'll answer with silence. Because the work will speak. The discipline will speak. The results will speak. And deep down, you'll know the truth. You didn't get lucky. You didn't take shortcuts. You didn't quit. You became a savage.